Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squad for boxing news and views from around the internet. Boxing journalist Mike Coppinger is reporting a deal has been reached between Anthony Joshua and Gerald Miller to fight each other in the United States. In a tweet, he says Anthony Joshua and Gerald Big Baby Miller have agreed to terms for a heavyweight championship fight at New York's Madison Square Garden, per sources. The fight will be streamed on DAZN and likely take place June 1, but June 8 also in play. Will be Joshua's US debut. Meanwhile, Dillian has fired shots at both Anthony Joshua and his own promoter Eddie Hearn in an interview with The Telegraph, saying it's clear to me that they have never been serious about making a fight with me for April 13. If they were serious, they should have started negotiating sooner and with more realistic terms. The way he is going about business, Joshua won't be fighting me, Wilder or Fury anytime soon. They've had the date booked for ages and have known AJ was available since he beat Povetkin on 22 September, yet didn't even make an initial offer until 10 January. We could have made this fight if Joshua really wanted it, but it has been clear to me all along they've been focused on making the Gerald Miller fight in New York City, on DAZN. Unfortunately, it was too little, too late. April 13 was then only 11 weeks away, and Eddie knows I need a decent 14-week camp for that fight. It's so obvious Joshua doesn't want to fight me. He wants to go to America and fight Miller. That is easy money. 100% this was their plan the whole time. He has had two kind of tough fights, and Miller is an easy fight. Miller has got no power, but he does have a good work rate. He's just a big cabbage, and Joshua will punch him to bits. ESPN is reporting Kubrat Pulev's next fight will be on the undercard of Miguel Burchelt's next fight on March 23rd in Los Angeles at the Forum in Inglewood. While no opponent has been finalized, Robert Helenius' name is still in the mix. Pulev, the IBF mandatory, recently signed with Top Rank and has indicated he wants to stay active ahead of an eventual title shot, which could be up to a year away. He has to keep winning, of course, and if Helenius is in fact the opponent, that presents more risk than a typical stay-busy fight. Meanwhile, fellow contender Luis Ortiz is continuing preparations for his upcoming fight on March 2nd in New York against Christian Hammer, getting sparring work in against 4-0 prospect Bakodir Jalolov. The Uzbekistan fighter was previously a top amateur. Ortiz's most recent fight was in December against Travis Kaufman, while Hammer also last fought in December against Michel Wallisch. Ortiz has stated he sees Hammer as a stepping stone type of fight ahead of a possible fight against whoever holds the WBC title. The latest WBA rankings are out, and just like the WBO's recent update, Oscar Rivas is the big winner in the WBA, entering at number 7. That was previously the ranking held by Bryant Jennings, who Rivas knocked out on January 18th. Jennings has been dumped from the rankings entirely. Sergey Kuzmin is up a couple of places to 8th, Andy Ruiz Jr. enters at 12 despite not having had a fight for a while, and Guillermo Jones, who had the 15th spot last month, has also been dropped from the top 15. The top 5 of Trevor Bryan, Gerald Miller, Fraser Kendo, Dillian Whyte and Joe Joyce remains unchanged. And just to circumvent any questions about why Oquendo is in the rankings despite not having fought since 2014, he is owed a title shot, and a court order has ordered the WBA deliver that title shot. He is set to face Manuel Charr in March. And also, should Gerald Miller face Anthony Joshua, the WBA will need to find an opponent for Trevor Bryan, who is ordered to face Miller, with the winner then going on to face the winner of the Charr-Oquendo fight. And that could leave the door open for Dillian Whyte as the next highest rated contender, but more likely for Joe Joyce, as Whyte has indicated he's targeting other potential opponents like Dominic Breazeale, Luis Ortiz and Alexander Povetkin. If Joyce was to fight Bryan, it would be for a version of a heavyweight title, with Bryan holding the WBA interim title. There's a few ifs, buts and maybes, but Joyce is handily placed for a possible shot against Bryan. Joe Joyce next fights later this month against Berman Stavern, the former champion who's faded and 40 years old now. On social media, Stavern has stated, though, we didn't see the real Berman Stavern against Deontay Wilder, and come February 23rd, he will show the world who he is. The former champion Oliver McCall is scheduled to fight in March in Texas. The 53-year-old is scheduled to be in an 8-rounder against Ronald Backer. No doubt the chorus of "he should retire" will again ring out from fans as it has done previously. Former WBA ranked fighter Christopher Lovejoy has issued a call for financial support on social media. The 17-0 fighter is currently preparing for a stint in jail, which will begin in a couple of weeks. He's put up a type of GoFundMe link on his Instagram and expressed that it's an alternative to turning to crime to pay his bills while he's on the inside. He's also spoken about his situation too.
Yeah, I made it to the Bay. I gotta come out here and work this little job so I can make sure I'm straight. You feel me? Pay my rent up a couple months while I'm gone. You feel me? And y'all be safe, man. Do what y'all do.
The 5-0 prospect, Fabio Ward Lee, has weighed in at 228 pounds ahead of his fight with Morgan Dussault on the Ted Cheeseman card this week. And just to end on something a little bit different, a couple of interesting training clips that caught my eye. First one, Anthony Joshua biting down here on a towel which is holding a 20-kilogram weight. That's over 40 pounds. And if the timer is correct, he's been doing that neck strengthening exercise for close to half an hour. Imagine dangling that weight from a towel for that length of time. And the second clip, Lucas Brown, the 39-year-old, how often do you see boxers like this doing walking handstands, especially fighters who are closing in on 40 years old? As always, drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out. If you want even more boxing content, come and join me on Patreon. Every week on a Sunday, I drop a new video on something topical or thought-provoking from the heavyweight division, ranging from rankings, the business of boxing, the false economy of deluded fanboys, the twists and turns in the division, to assessments of fighters and their statements. I hope to see you there, and for more information go to patreon.com/boxing squared. The address is on screen now.